Well, I'm joined now by Ribal al-Assad, cousin of Syria's President Assad and director of the Organization for Democracy and Freedom in Syria. A very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you.
Hillary Clinton, US Secretary of State, today in Munich has made a speech in which she's talking about the perfect storm, by which she means there is a confluence of events and circumstances which will blow through the entire Middle East, including Syria. Is that how you read things?
I think that the whole region of the Middle East needs to change, and it's time for it to change. But regarding Syria, I think it has to be a peaceful and transitional change. I do not agree with people who call for a revolution, because as you know, revolution will bring public unrest and chaos.
Some will say sometimes it's the only thing that changes things.
We need to change things, of course. I am, I'm completely for freedom of expression, of association, and people demonstrating peacefully. But this should not be a revolution. This would be a disaster. So we always need to call on the Syrian regime to have a government of national unity, to end the state of emergency, to allow political parties who believe in democracy, in genuine democracy, to exist and flourish in Syria, to release all political prisoners, to also allow freedom of expression and association, to root out all kind of state corruption, which is very important, and to allow the voices of people to be heard. This is the main points that has to happen, and as I said, it has to happen peacefully and transitionally. It has to happen. Historically,
in Syria, when there has been a mass protest before which threatened the survival of the regime, a previous regime, admittedly, that regime resorted to violence and many people died.
It wasn't a peaceful uprisal. What happened in Syria, there were people, as you know, as we have been seeing lately for the past years, that there is a rise of extremism in the world, and we were the first country in Syria to face those extremists. And as you know, when you take arms, when you choose arms and not a peaceful way to go against the government, to go against the state by killing civilians, by putting bombs in school, by hanging girls who are not wearing, for example, the veil or others, well, the government decided to face those extremists. They have tried to have dialogue with them, and this government, at the moment, and the leadership of the Islamist groups, who was the Muslim Brotherhood at the time, refused dialogue. And it's, you could see it all over, where you have one of the Al-Qaeda leaders, for example, at the time, he was Mr. Abdullah Azzam, who spoke against the Syrian regime and who said the Syrian regime have tried dialogue and they wanted us to put the arms away, but we have refused because we will not stop until there is an Islamic state in Syria.
When we take the long view and think historically, we think of perhaps even the Middle Ages, we think of Damascus and Cairo as the great twin poles and the dynasties that ruled there.
Yes.
Are we seeing a situation now where Egypt is really leading the way into something absolutely new for the Arab world? And Damascus is falling behind.
But you have always to keep in mind that there's a difference between Egypt and Syria. In Syria also, as you know, there's a lot of, you have, for example, Muslims, Christians, Jews, you have Kurds, you have Sharkas people, Turkmen, and all those, and you have even between Muslims themselves, you have Shia Muslims, Sunni Muslims, Alawite, Druze, Ismailis, all those people who constitute a big part of society. All of them don't want, any chaos. They don't want any change that is brought by chaos. And you've seen the result that, for example, those few expatriates who tried over using Facebook or others to call for, a revolution in Syria, it didn't work. Because first, they chose a wrong date. Second, if you've seen the image that they've chose, they call it the day of rage. I mean, just the name alone, it's inciting people to go and fight, It was a red picture showing blood, like they want blood, they are thirsty for blood. And as you know, there are millions of Syrians who live abroad. Millions. How many have joined this campaign? Not many. There was only a few thousand, maybe. They didn't even, there weren't above 10,000 people who joined this campaign.
Okay. Ribal al-Assad from the Organization for Democracy and Freedom in Syria. Thank you very much, Steve, for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks.